At one point, I had to check my TV guide to make sure it was still on MTV because at one point, everyone's just learning about tectonic plates and even how to pronounce it. Sweet dreams are made of these. Hello and welcome back everyone to the video series DECODE show on MTV that won't let you drown. Sorry, not sorry. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 36 Double Agents Episode 14, and in this episode we learn that at the daily challenge, CT and Cam are as cold as ice, Leroy feels like a little tadpole sometimes, and Fessy is a Florida boy who loves the water. Man, his dating bio is just writing itself. But let's start off where last episode left off, and that was everybody coming back to the challenge house. Nani is excited because she has her gold skull, she has a new partner, and Fessy is excited too, but he's still gonna check on Anissa, make sure she's okay, and she says she's fine, as she has to go have a team meeting with her new partner, Kyle. They share a laugh, which I have to say that we didn't see a whole lot of Fessy and Anissa laughing. Maybe Fessy is just too serious, or maybe they didn't show that in their edit. But right off the bat, Kyle and Anissa are like joking around, having a good time, but they also know that they are on the chopping block. Their gold skulls are looking very tantalizing to the rest of the house, so they know they have to win the next daily challenge to stay safe. We move on to the next morning where Darrell and Leroy are talking with each other, and Darrell is talking about how he really wants to win that daily challenge. He wants to stay safe as we inch closer and closer to the finals. And then Cory comes walking up campaigning about how he wants to be the house vote. Now Leroy and Darrell are thinking, this is way too early. We have to see who's going to win the daily challenge first and see who's going to be in power. So they're not going to like promise him anything. We move on throughout the night, and Cory is still campaigning, and he's talking to Anissa, and Anissa promises him that if she wins power, she will throw him in so he has a shot to get his gold skull. Now super early the next morning, some people are waking up, they're moving very slowly. All of a sudden, the green light goes off and the challenge has been activated. Everyone has to get all dressed up and go out to a field to meet up with TJ early in the morning so they can get to their daily challenge called Undercover. And what these teams are gonna have to do is go one by one as a team, go and swim in through these tectonic plates, swim out to get like these rings, 6 rings, come back and then decode a message. Now the one caveat about this daily challenge is that you cannot come up for air. You have to stay underneath the water. Once you go past these buoys, you have to stay underneath the water all the way from getting to your rings and all the way back. If you come up for air, you're gonna be DQ'd. And it doesn't seem that far of a distance to swim. It seems like it's like 30 feet. I don't know exactly how dimensions and distances work, but it doesn't seem that far. And especially when you have like that breathing tube tank that they give you, it should be good, but we're gonna see that that is gonna be a point of contention for at least half of these teams, but we're gonna get into it. Now, last episode, Leroy and Casey won the double agent power, so they get to decide the order for today's daily challenge, and they put Kyle and Anissa first because they want them to lose. Kyle and Anissa do this daily challenge, and they actually do it really well. They work well together, they figure out this code. Now, I have to say that this was a hack job by the editing team. We get it. People were doing this fast. Whoever finished this daily challenge did it quickly, but they were just recycling and reusing the same shots over and over again, especially with Kyle and Anissa because they wanted to make that seem like they went really long. And then when it comes down to the final 2 teams, and CT and Cam and Leroy and Casey, they wanted to show that they did it rather quickly, so that way the reveal was a bit more shocking, but again, we'll get to it. Kyle and Anissa decode the message, literally. Then the next 3 teams all DQ. Cory talked about how his friend tried to drown him in a pool, like when they were younger, so he can't go underneath the water for long periods of time. Amber has a problem with her breathing tube and has to come up for air, and Fessy kicks Nani in the face when he's off on the takeoff, and that throws her off. CT and Cam are going, and they grab their rings rather quickly. They get to the decoding station, and they're having some frustrations early on, but that's when CT backs up for a little bit, and then he comes in as a fresh pair of eyes to help finish this puzzle. Then they share like this dance and this like jubilation at the end. Then Leroy and Casey go in to do their run, and they do it rather quickly. In their edit, they seem like they do it in no time flat. When we get back to where TJ is talking to all the teams after they completed this daily challenge, he talks about CT and Cam and Leroy and Casey like there's the only two teams that did it the quickest. But then he has this like gotcha as he says that Kyle and Nisa killed this challenge, that their time was better than anybody's time, like by far the best time in this daily challenge. So they were trying to do this like switcheroo on us. So now back to the house, it's kind of like a red alert. We have Leroy and Nany talking with the Big Brother Alliance going like, now what do we do? Fessy's thinking, okay, well, the house vote is going to be Cory and Big T, right? Because they don't have skulls, and then we're just going to leave it up to Kyle and Nisa to figure out who they want to throw in. Well, that gets the gears a-going. They're like, let's not do that. How about we decide who the gold skull holder is going to be the house vote, and then they can say Big T and Cory. Big T and Cory are talking, and Cory wants to be the house vote. He wants to ensure that he's going to get a shot, because if he's not going to be the house vote, he has to trust in Kyle to say his name, and Kyle maybe isn't the closest ally to Cory, but Big T is saying how Kyle's like a brother to her. So let's trust this process, and let's trust them that they have our backs. Now Cam and Leroy are talking about how possibly Leroy is in a bit of hot water because he did put Kyle and Anissa as the first team to go in that daily challenge. Also, in the Aftermath show, Kyle talked about how Leroy and Casey came up to him while Anissa and Kyle were working out, saying that, hey, we're gonna throw you in once we win this daily challenge. So Kyle is really thinking about wanting to go and throw in Leroy and Casey, and so Cam is thinking, we gotta figure out a different plan for the house vote. We move on to the party scene, and that's where Kyle and Leroy are talking, and Kyle is saying like, look, if there's going to be another elimination, have my back, and throw in Darrell before you throw in me. And that's when Leroy's like, yeah, I'll do it. You know what? I love Leroy's stance in this game. Every confessional he's talking about, he just shows the determination, the focus, and the passion that he wants to win. He's talking about how he is not wanting to lie to people. He doesn't even want to talk to people because he doesn't want to lie to them. But to win this game and to get this money and to get the title of Challenge Champ this season, he will do whatever it takes to get to that final and win. I love to see it, and I love that to see this side of Leroy's game that feels like he's always been the good guy, and we've seen where that got him. So now he's playing the game that he knows he has to play to get to that final. Nany and Fessy are talking with each other, and Fessy is talking about how he wants to run this final with Nany, even though she kind of messed up in this daily challenge, and Nany is sitting there going like, I don't want you as partner anymore. I have instant regret. And that's just really, really funny in my opinion. We move on to Leroy and Darrell talking to each other at the party. And Leroy is trying to give Darrell a heads up. Like, look, you are probably going to be the house vote. And Darrell is thinking like, why am I the house vote? I understand it if like Kyle and Anissa were to say my name and throw me in against Cory and Big T, who should be the house vote. They don't have a gold skull. But now I'm going to be the one being thrown in as the house vote? Like, what is that saying about my alliances and my game as a whole if I'm going to be the one being thrown into the game? And that's when he turns it on Leroy and says, fine, if I go in, could win, and I'm going to take anybody I want. Amber B didn't do so hot in the daily challenge. If I win, I'm most likely going to make it to the finals, and I want the partner that I think I can win the finals with, and I'm going to take your partner, Leroy. We move on to the next morning, where CT and Nany are sharing a cup of coffee, and that's when both are talking about missing their old partners. Nany wishes she was with Kyle, and CT, after everything that happened in the daily challenge, misses Big T. He kind of wants her back, and that's going to foreshadow what's going to happen later on in this episode. We move on to Deliberation, and Cory is talking about how he wants to be the house vote. Big T is like, yeah, we want to be the house vote, but Darrell comes in and says, look, I've heard my name show up. but I can fight for my spot in the house, and I'm gonna do what I have to do to win and stay in this game. We move on to everyone voting, and we see some people vote Leroy and Casey. We see some people vote Cory and Big T. We see a whole bunch of Darrell and Amber votes, and then we move on to the secret deliberation. I didn't think we were gonna get the compromised agents. I thought, oh my goodness, they're gonna leave it a mystery, and it makes sense why they would leave it a mystery. However, they come back from the commercial break and they show that the compromised agents are Darrell and Amber, and we get to see that 6 people voted for them. We have CT, Cam, Leroy, Casey, Fessy, and Nani. When looking at the declassified votes, we have Darrell and Amber voted in Leroy and Casey. Cory and Big T voted themselves. No matter what, Darrell and Amber were going to be the compromised agents, and Kyle is all giddy with power, and he's thinking like, okay, well, what if we sent in CT versus Darrell? 2 champs, 2 heavy hitters, 2 OGs going at each other in an elimination. How fun would that be? Anissa is shooting that down. Once we get back to the house, and inside the house after the secret deliberation, the alarm bells are ringing, the green light is on, and everybody knows that they have to head down to the elimination. Once everyone is at the crater walking up to stand on the little like balcony area, they walk through the crater arena to see that it looks exactly like the elimination between Wes and Devin in Snapping Point. So that's the elimination we're going to be doing. The 3rd time this elimination was played, the 3rd variation. TJ announces that the compromised agents are Darrell and Amber, and they have to join him on the crater floor. We move on to Kyle and Anissa, who both vote Cory and Big T into the elimination. We find out that it is a men's elimination, so it's going to be Cory versus Darrell in Snapping Point. Where teams are going to have to do is that they're tethered together, run through the poles, then turn around and mad sprint to their button. The person who can hit their button first 2 times out of 3 will win this elimination, either keep their gold skull or steal the gold skull and be eligible to run the finals. Darrell is worried because he doesn't have as quick a speed, and so Darrell is thinking that he's gonna have to really put it into gear. Round 1, he's a little slow off the takeoff. Cory is like lightning speed. He is like the Flash. He goes through and then turns around, and I know TJ said that these ropes were like triple tension, but out of all the rounds we saw, no tension was ever like seen in these ropes, because Cory just goes so quick through the poles, turns around, makes a mad sprint, and he hits that button so quickly. Cory takes round 1. Darrell knows he has to go quicker, and he does go quicker. It's just not quick enough as TJ blows that horn, and Cory goes just as fast, and he hits his buzzer. The blue smoke comes out of his pole, and he wins 2 rounds to nothing. I'm sad to say that Darrell is leaving this game, and I have some good news and bad news upon this elimination. The bad news is that in the final words segment on MTV.com, Darrell is talking about how he would like to say that he will be back, but he just doesn't know. He doesn't know if he can leave his family for that long again. It's not a hard no that he's never gonna come back, but he does seem to be like distraught about the decision between having to leave his family and leaving the challenge. But the good news is that Darrell is going to be on the Challenge All-Stars. So we will get to see him compete on a version of the challenge very, very soon on Paramount Plus starting April 1st. So happy that Darrell will be back on the challenge very, very soon. We move back to the main game where Cory now has a decision. He won his gold skull. He is ready for TJ's final, and the finals are looking closer than ever. Cory is going through his progression. He's saying that this would be a harder decision if Big T had her skull, but I want to have somebody that already has their skull, and he steals Cam away from CT. So now we have the team of Cam and Cory, which is a stacked team in my opinion. And then we get a really nice moment here between Big T and CT is like, hey, Big T, I would like to get you your skull. If you would have me back, if you would say yes to a partnership with me, I'll run down there and we can run this thing again. And Big T just gets a big smile on her face and she says, yeah, let's do it. And now Big T and CT are reunited, And it just warms your heart as they like hug and embrace each other. And CT says he missed her, and Big T says she missed him too. And it just warms my heart. I'm happy to see them back. I'm happy to see that they are happy with each other, friends again, and I'm happy for them as a team. I'm happy for us as the audience that we get to see them run together, and happy that their partnership is back with each other. And that leaves Amber as the rogue agent. She has no idea what's going to happen as she's now having to work with a partner. Darrell and Amber have been working since day one. So now she's like, what's going to happen? Who am I going to be partnered up with? And will I be able to work with them? And also TJ likes to leave us off with a little bit of like mystery and like making people nervous when he says like, hey, just letting everybody know, nobody is in the final yet. This is far from over. What does that mean? All 10 skulls are handed out. Only one person doesn't have a skull. How are we not close to the end? What's happening, TJ? Well, that's where we're having to be left off, but that is it for this episode. What'd you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comments section below. What'd you think about the daily challenge? What did you think about Kyle and Anissa winning? What do you think about them throwing in Cory getting his gold skull? Are you sad to see Darrell leave? And what do you think about the new teams of everyone now? Let me know that in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge 36 Double Agent content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.